RNG! 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 RNG!
Welcome to the RNG Podcast. We're five gamers who are going to talk about Magic, other games, and anything else we feel like. Let's start by introducing ourselves. Brian.
Hey guys, I'm Brian. I've been playing card games for 14 years. I started with Yu-Gi-Oh! Then moved on to Versus. Met all these guys over here. Became the world champion.
That's right, you did.
Yep.
The one and only world champion of Versus.
Yes, and the game died.
Yeah.
Right after that.
Basically killed it. Nice. Good job. Good job, Brian.
Yep. And then moved on to Magic.
All right, let's move over to Josh.
I'm Josh. I've been gaming longer than anyone else here, except for maybe old man Miguel. And I'm a professional slacker lately.
Excellent. All right. Mr. Glenn.
Hi, I'm Glenn. I'm the ad hoc Zudo mascot of this group, apparently. Been playing video games and games since I was a kid. Moved on. Started with Pokemon, moved to Yu-Gi-Oh!, then to Versus, and then on to Magic, and now Hearthstone, which is very infectious to me at this point in my life. But yeah, that's what I'm pretty much doing at this time.
All right. Mike.
Started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Played Versus. That's how I met all these fine fellows. Took a little break from card gaming, then got back into doing Magic competitively, and also Hearthstone.
All right. And I'm Miguel, and I have been, I really got into gaming with Versus System. Played that until Brian killed it, and then moved on to Magic a little bit. Currently playing around with the Marvel Dice Masters and the whole Dice Master sets. Those are kind of cool. But probably not as hardcore a gamer here as some of the others, like World Champ Brian.
Not even close.
Not even close.
Nope.
And so I'm going to throw it over to you, Brian, because we're going to start talking a little Magic.
Yeah, last weekend, Pro Tour Fate Reforged happened, and it was really exciting. There's a lot of shuffling and just searching their decks. Actually, not that exciting watching it, but the results are really interesting.
Before you go into them, as a group last week, we were making guesses about who was going to win or what kind of decks we'd see. Was anybody close?
No.
Okay, awesome. Well, that's
we
cool.
are.
Yeah, Glenn said there would be Abzan in the top 8.
And Twin.
Okay.
Oh, what a surprise!
Wow.
Good job. But
What a long shot.
Josh did say that in fact it's going to be a deck, and it was. The pros at Channel Fireball brought it to the tournament, and they did well. They just didn't top 8.
Yeah, there were a couple win-and-ins for top 8 for Infect.
Yeah.
That didn't quite make it.
Yeah, the Abzan decks beat them out.
Yep.
Yeah, it was really interesting. The Amulet Bloom deck that I talked to you about, the crazy stuff, got second place.
So tell again, what does that deck do?
Oh, so Amulet of Vigor is an artifact. It's a 1-cost artifact that makes any permanent that comes into play tapped, untapped. So it's a trigger. So there's lands that come into play. You gotta bounce a land from the field to your hand, and it produces 2 mana. Since it comes into play, and the Amulet Vigor will trigger and make it untap. So you can make 2 mana and bounce itself to your hand. So there's a card called Summer's Bloom, which will make you get 3 more land drops in 1 turn. So you can play it. It untaps. You can make 2 mana. So you can make 6 mana or 8 mana, whatever, and then play like your kill cards. So it's like a turn 2 win.
Wow.
Turn 2 win, turn 3 win usually. But Mike, you want to talk about what happened?
Yeah, so I watched a stream game where somebody had a turn 1 win in Modern.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So it's just solitaire.
Yeah, it's a 6-card combo, so it doesn't happen very often.
Right.
But it plays Simian Spirit Guide to get Amulet out, turn 1. Then it plays a Guru land, untaps, plays Summer Bloom, does that 3 more times, plays Hive Mind, which says each player copies the spell that you play,
Yeah.
and then it plays Summoner's Pact, which says at the start of your upkeep, play 2 green and 2 colorless, or you lose the game. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it
Right.
just did that.
Wow.
Pass.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was ridiculous.
Single tier.
Yeah, turn 1 kills in Modern. Not very likely,
Right.
but
It happened.
yeah, it happened.
Wow.
So there's that power of that deck. It's
Okay.
just
So how far did that make it? Did that actually make it to the top what?
second place.
Place.
Wow.
Yeah, it faced a blue deck, which is the worst matchup for that deck. Like counter spells are really hard for that deck to overcome, and Blood Moon. There's a card called Blood
Yeah.
Moon, 3-cost enchantment. This makes all non-basic lands mountain, and that deck is all non-basic lands. There's
Yeah.
one
Right.
forest in the deck.
And it doesn't need mountains.
No, it does
Yeah.
not need mountains. So yeah, we were just joking about it last week because it 4-0'd a daily. No, it won SCG Open,
Yeah.
like just a 5K, and yeah, it was like, oh, we were talking about it. Now I got second place. Apparently, a lot of was Sam Black, right? Yeah, Sam Black and his roommate and 6 other guys ran it, and Sam Black's roommate, which is
It's like Justin Cohen.
Justin Cohen. He's the one. People say that he's been running the deck for like years. So he's like a master pilot of that deck, and he's still slow. When you're watching the games, because he has to put so much thought in every search effect he has, because the deck is very complicated to play. It's straightforward combo, but getting to the combo is really rough. Like you can make one misstep and you're like, oh, you're done. You're not gonna catch up because Modern is so quick. And yeah, he beat Abzan decks that has like hand disruption. He beat a burn deck. It's insane. Like
Wow.
Yeah.
like I was joking about it last week, but not anymore. I think the deck is real.
Yeah.
You now fear it. I'm always interested. So how much does it cost to put that one together?
Things are going up. Everything is just going up. Like Summer's Bloom's like $3 as a common. Amulet of Vigor is now $6 each. Primeval Titan's like 15.
Azuzas are the expensive cards.
Oh, Azusa is $20 each.
No, they're way more than that now.
That I checked Sunday. Is it more now?
The last time I saw on like the medium price on TCG Player, they were like $60.
They tripled in
Wow.
price. Jeez.
That was the last time I saw on their like medium how much this card is selling for thing, and I was like, I thought this card was not expensive.
Yeah. It's like a trash card
Yeah.
in Kamigawa that's been it's played in like Commander because it's
Yeah.
a legendary creature that makes you get 2 extra land drops, right?
Yep.
And yeah.
Wow.
It's not even the main focus of the deck.
But it runs 3.
It does run 3.
So
But yeah, we're talking about the second place deck, but the first place deck is Blue Red Twin. And that deck is good. We talked about it.
Surprise.
Yeah.
We talked about how good that deck is, and that deck is pretty weak against Abzan. I wouldn't say too weak. It's like 45-55 matchup, but yeah, it got through. He played amazingly. He was really deliberate, and what's his name? Some Spanish guy.
That's a weird name.
Yeah.
Does that usually play to time then?
No, it's just in the top 8. There's no time limit.
Oh.
so they go especially slow.
Wow.
Antonio del Moral Leon. Yeah.
When I first started reading his name, I thought it was going to be Antonio De La Rosa. I was like, oh, okay.
Oh no, I don't.
Not him.
Not him.
So Azusa Lost But Seeking is $43.
$43. Nice.
TCG mid.
Okay.
Still double the price
Still
I
double.
saw
Yeah.
on Sunday.
And probably still going to go up to 60 anyways at some point in the next couple weeks.
So did you guys? Any of you guys see the finals?
The Pro Tour?
Yeah.
I still haven't caught up watching it yet.
Okay, and you guys haven't seen any.
I saw a piece of it as I walked into Channel Fireball.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it.
Okay, so
Went to Channel Fireball.
I did. I had to pick up some sleeves.
so in the finals, it was 3-1. It wasn't that exciting, but when he won, he just like put his deck back, did a Kobe fist pump, and that was it. There was no confetti. There's no balloons. It's like it was so just chill. I don't get it. Like the production value of the whole event was really well made, right? And that was the winner. Like he won, and that's it. Like,
Little fist bump, 140 grand.
Right.
No big deal.
yeah, 50 grand, whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like like you can see how happy he is, but you know, every other, if you watch any esport, like for like League of Legends and stuff, there's like sound effects, like fireworks.
People are jumping off.
Yeah, and there's models running around. And
what they
it's just
needed.
like, I think it's a big accomplishment, and it's just kind of, and then the trophy presentation, just like 8th place is, it's like, it's so like down. I feel like they should celebrate it more.
Right. And like with a half-hour wrap-up and
Yeah.
interviews and
It was
team climax.
it was well made. There's interviews and stuff, but it was just like he won.
right.
I know everybody thought he was gonna win. It was like a 70-30 matchup.
Right.
So
They should to make it more exciting. I'd say bring out a big check with 2 gold bikinis like they do in every other event,
yeah,
and he'll get excited no matter who you are.
yeah. It's I was pretty disappointed at that part because everything was like high quality. There's like 6 hosts, like each of them are really knowledgeable. Like 4 of them is Hall of Fame Magic players.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. I just felt like it could be better. But yeah, moving forward, we're gonna play, me and Mike, maybe Glenn. I don't know. We're gonna play in a modern PPTQ, prelim Pro Tour qualifier. So there's a new system out. I don't know, everyone pretty much knows, but you have to win this prelim PTQ to get qualified for the regional PTQ, and you got a top 4 in that one to get an invitation to the Pro Tour. So you have to win 2 tournaments in a row, and you can only be qualified for 1 regional PTQ every season, every 3 months. So when you qualify, you get to play in that 1 RPTQ, and that's it. You get to qualify for 4 a year to try and qualify for the Pro Tour.
And this changes it because before you could just do whatever.
Before you can just play in a PTQ, and if you win that one, you're invited.
Got it.
So I feel like you have more chances back then.
They
But
put another step in the way.
Yeah.
You went instead of just winning the Pro Tour qualifier, you have to win a qualifier to qualify for the Pro Tour qualifier.
Right.
That which qualifies you for the Pro Tour.
Is this going to affect any of the? Is this going to affect anybody? Like,
It's gonna
people are
affect the numbers.
I hate that.
Huh?
Like people are going to be like, I hate this. This is dumb. Like for the more experienced players that are up there, or like
It'll take a while for I think the lower tier players to figure out that they're kind of getting screwed. Right now, it's just they've had it described to them, but I think for it to become real, it'll be a while before they're like, oh, wait a minute,
this is not.
I won
good.
that PPTQ, and now I have to wait. You know, or then I get to my PTQ failed, and now I have to wait 3 months to try again.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
we're
now I
lucky
get
in the
that.
NorCal
Right.
that we get a lot of PTQs before. So I guess it's better in a sense for smaller towns because they just have to, their store just has to qualify for the PPTQ. So it's easy. And it's less people. And then our PTQs are much larger because it's
Right.
regional. But the regionals, I don't know where it's going to get held. So it could be in Sacramento. If we qualify in the end and it's like Sacramento, right? And it's like, who's qualified for our PTQ? And we like go to Channel Fireball and our friends over there, who's qualified? And there's like one person. So I was like, oh, I'm testing with one guy.
Right.
You know, or gal.
Right.
But but yeah, it's just, I don't know how this is.
So you guys are going to fly to Arkansas then and find that.
Crush them.
Yeah, crush them. And then, good plan. Good plan.
Arkansas would be the middle section of America. I think it would be Phoenix. Come on,
Yeah, okay.
much better.
Arizona. But yeah,
Closer.
I don't know about it. I don't know what I feel about it because when we played on PTQs, it was like ridiculous, like 200 to 400 players for a PTQ. It's like 12 hours.
Right.
If you actually get the top 8, like I top 8 in August, right? I top 8 in that one. I went 7-0, and then there's 9 rounds, 7-0, and I just drew in 8th round, 9th round. So I was relaxed going into the top 8. But there's some people that played out, like they had to play out all the way to the 9th round, get to the top 8. I got knocked off in the top 8, and then people kept playing, and I had to go home and to work. So, yeah, I mean that'll be better. What do you guys think?
I still feel like if you actually make it to the Pro Tour qualifier regional tournaments, I think they're gonna still take forever. I mean, it's like everybody that makes it to that level is gonna take those tournaments way more seriously because you already won a tournament to get there. You're not gonna this is like a fun Magic tournament for me on a Sunday, and if I just happen to win it, I'll go to the Pro Tour. It's like I already won a tournament. Now I'm specifically going to this other tournament that I want to win, and everybody's going to have that mindset.
But there's only going to be like 100 people.
Yeah,
or
but
less.
I think.
But it's not a watered down player base. You have
Isn't that what?
the 100 people that are dead set on winning.
Yeah, and I
And
think
know
that'll
what they're
make
doing.
the play longer.
Yeah.
It's not like when you went to a normal PTQ and it's like you could have 20 to 50 people who are just your average gamer that's like, I just want to play in a Magic PTQ, no big deal,
Yeah.
Now it's like, no, I want a tournament to get here full. Like, there's no
Yeah.
fucking around anymore.
Yeah. I do think that's gonna be like 7, 8 rounds, not like 10.
Yeah,
Plus a
playoff. 7-8
playoff.
rounds, anyways, is still ran by WotC is just terrible. Or I'm sorry, by Cascade Games, which they're improving. I hear every day, but that doesn't mean that they still know how to run a tournament yet. I mean,
How many years has it been since they've been doing this? Jeez.
Yeah, they're getting faster. It's just people are people. Magic players are Magic players. Like
well,
they're
if
slow.
you think about it though, Cascade Games is back to Yu-Gi-Oh days.
Yeah, they're
They
better.
were-
They're
they
way
were-
better now.
Yeah. But I mean, it's been 14 years. No,
It's more than that.
no, less than that. It's like 13 years to 12. But it's been that long, and they still can't. You would figure a company that's been held together that long, all they do is run tournaments. They still can't get it right.
Yeah, I don't get how in Vegas they had a Twitter. You can follow the Twitter for every round, so you can see your matchups instead of funneling down, bottlenecked into this like board that you have to look for, or like just. I don't know. This is way too expensive monitors on in the ceiling that you can like see like matchups and stuff. But the Twitter thing was a good idea. Why didn't they have that? Everybody has a smartphone usually. Not
Yeah.
everybody's like Mike who has a flip phone.
it's a 6-year-old flip phone. Right.
It's an antique at this point.
It's not even a razor.
It's not even a razor. I wish it was.
Wishing for a flip phone.
You can play that one game on it though, right? It's like the little centipede
Snake.
thing.
Snake.
Yeah.
No, I don't have that on it.
Oh.
It's not that advanced.
Wait, so I didn't, okay.
It's not a Nokia.
I did, sorry.
It's 8-bit.
I mean, it's cute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Ladies love it.
Especially the
That's real
sounds it
reason.
makes when you're texting.
Yeah, I make
yeah.
little songs.
Right.
Remember those days?
Mike's like
Yeah.
MP3. Fuck you, I got MIDI.
Each
Yeah, I
text is a
just-
song.
So moving forward, like what decks are you looking forward to playing?
For
This is
modern?
modern.
Yeah,
Well, I'm going to be playing Boros Hate Bears.
good old Craig Wesco.
Yep. It was actually, I think it was a guy who did well in an online daily event with it, and then Craig Wesco was talking about it in one of his articles, and it does some unfair things for modern. So, and I like playing Hate Bears, so I'm going to run that. You can do things like a turn 1 Thalia, which says all non-creature spells cost 1 more to cast, or a turn 1 Leonin Arbiter, which says players must pay 2 colorless mana to search their decks. So if you're on the play and you get out Leonin Arbiter and they only have fetch lands in their hand, they can't actually fetch. So,
That sounds rude.
yeah, just like stealing games that way sounds good to me. And like fetch lands are running like crazy right now.
What's it? Does it have its own kill condition, or is it
It's just
all
little
about
guys.
disruption?
Yeah, it's just little like 2/2 guys, 3. Like, I'm running Brimaz is like one of the big threats. Blade Splicer, who makes, when he comes into play, makes a 3/3 Golem. And Restoration.
Golems first strike.
Yes, he does. And then Restoration Angel to like bounce him to make more golems and things like that to put on a faster clock. And it's Boros colors, so I run like Lightning Bolt and Boros Charm. Yeah.
Lightning Helix?
Not yet, but maybe.
Maybe because of the burn matchups.
Yeah, we haven't tested burn matchups yet, so I'm really curious about that. As the main deck, I have 3 dead cards against it, which are Blood Moons. But
yeah, turn 2 even mind sensors. That sounds hot.
yeah, or like turn 3 Restoration Angel.
Yeah.
Like woo, 3/4 flying blocker out of nowhere.
Just hope that the burn play doesn't drop the Legion on turn 2. Dear God.
So Abzan is a hard matchup, right?
I assume so.
Because of the hand disruption.
Yeah, yeah. I think there will be games where you can get like free wins out of it, and it does run Blood Moon, which I think affects their mana base drastically. Like Blade Splicer matches up well against Liliana, so I think there's game there. I don't know how good that matchup is. We have to do more testing.
Yeah, in the coming weeks we'll be playing and proxying
Yep.
because we don't have 4 Tarmogoyfs.
When is it again?
Gotta save up.
What?
The PTTQ?
PPTQ is the end of the month.
Oh, okay.
So the Sunday after Ronda Rousey beats Katzengana.
Yep.
So after UFC.
So it's not February 20th, but March 1st.
What?
The date wise.
While you're checking your calendar, Glenn, what are you going to play? You obviously don't have that much time to get ready.
Well,
So what are you going to run?
Burn.
well, if it's on the 28th,
Burn.
I'm hoping it's not.
It's burn.
So it's going to be on the March 1st.
Yeah, it's on Sunday.
If I had a choice, I'd probably just go with Twin since it's the safest bet.
You're gonna borrow a twin deck from somebody? That isn't us.
Because we have none of those.
Yeah, I'll go. Well, obviously, I was talking to a lot of the extension of our play group,
Oh, okay.
and I was saying I probably want to build like a deck, and I was thinking Abzan first, but there's no way there's gonna be that many Goyfs running around. So
What are you talking about? The Goloviches have like almost 3 play sets.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, they're not selling though.
No, it was just.
But they'll let you borrow them. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not a big deal. But I
Especially
mean,
since none of them are going to be running it.
Yeah. Well, Aaron's not playing because he's far away. I mean, he's working a lot. I mean,
That's right. And then Jason is.
he's been playing.
Yeah, but he's not going to be playing that though.
but yeah, I mean, with Twin, it seems like it'd be the safest bet. It's one of the decks that I always wanted to try as well. So it'll be something interesting to try out during this PPTQ. See how it works out.
What are you gonna play, Brian?
I'm looking to playing Bant mid-range or just play Boggles. But Boggles didn't show up in Pro Tour, which worries me. Why the pros didn't like it. There was only 2.
They
in the
were
whole
waiting
tournament.
for you, Brian.
But it never shows
You
up.
have
in
to
mass
crack
anyways.
Yeah, 2 is really low though.
I think it was backlash from the tournaments prior. Like, people saw that Boggles was doing well, and you saw lots of enchantment hate in people's sideboards. So I think people were prepared for it, and that's why pros didn't run it. Because you want to catch people, like, unprepared for that deck. Is when they're prepared for it, it sucks.
See, and now no one's expecting it, so that's your opening right now. It's like,
And
oh,
then
it's
the
not gonna
Abzan matchup probably is rough, I imagine. The hand disruption on top of Liliana.
Yeah, but if you get to drop a 1-drop on 1, the hand disruption doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You have to fly out to lose at that point.
Okay.
But yeah, the Dried Arbor fetch plus the suppression field makes Liliana irrelevant
Yeah.
if you draw those cards. Which a fetch land, I mean, the deck runs like 7 fetch lands to get to Dried Arbor. And yeah, once that happens, they have to have a second Liliana to get you. But the suppression field will just make it irrelevant. Like
Yeah.
They have to get to 5 lands, which you should kill them by then.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm still kind of looking around what I want. I'm comfortable playing Boggles and Living End. So those are the two decks like I played a lot of. I played like 6 months worth of Living End. I played Mono Green with Blood Moons too. That's the one I top 8 with. But the metagame has drastically changed by then. There's been bannings and all that stuff. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll be playing a lot. We'll be playing later, practicing later, seeing how we feel.
Yep.
2 weeks.
Couple of weeks, yeah.
Couple weeks. All right.
We goldfish a lot.
Yeah.
Theory craft. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, I'm sure we'll talk about this again as we progress
Yeah.
next week. See where we're at. Watch and see that none of the decks that you listed are being played. And
Yeah.
something else entirely. All right. Now we're going to jump into the segment which we like to call the RNG Podcast Recommends, where we go around the table and we recommend something. It could be a game, it could be a movie, it could be music, whatevs. And we'll start with Brian.
So I've been watching this show, and I roped a couple of guys here to start watching it. It's called Man Seeking Woman. It's an FXX show. Am I saying that? FX?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's 2 or 3 X's in there.
Just 2.
But it stars Jay Baruchel. Is that his name?
I
Yeah.
can't say it correctly either, but yeah.
From
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, Jay Baruchel, Britt Lower, Eric Andre, which is I'm a big fan of. Go watch Eric Andre's show as well. He's amazing, and it's a comedy about like romantic relationships, and they just show it in like an extreme manner. Like in the first episode,
the troll.
yeah. So, you get in this situation where you get set up, and a friend or your sibling that set you up on this date is like talking the person up, and then you meet the person, and you're like, you don't find them attractive, and in this in the show they portray it as the girl is a troll.
A literal
Literal.
troll.
Literal
Yeah.
troll. Like she,
Under a bridge and everything.
yeah, she's short, slimy, ugly, and it's awesome. Like, and then there's usually 3 story arcs per episode, per half-hour episode, and it's just awesome. Like every episode has been awesome. But sometimes it doesn't even go like supernatural or extreme. It's just like really awkward date, and it's like you're like waiting for something to happen, and it's just like, oh, this is real life. Like
Right.
how awful things are.
So I walked in what I think was last week or the week before, and you guys were watching it, and I was sort of only half paying attention to it, but it's one of those shows that like really starts demanding your attention like right away. There was something about going to a party where Hitler was he somehow survived, and Hitler was at the party and with this guy's ex-girlfriend, right?
Yeah.
He kept one-upping him.
Right, he kept one-upping him, and it was just horrible and awkward and hilarious and wrong. And yeah, so I'm gonna catch all the episodes because that.
Yeah, there's been 5 episodes since yesterday, and highly recommend it. It's really funny. Yeah, the cast is amazing. So
Yeah, super bizarre,
yeah,
but great.
Just dawned on me what the first thing I probably remember Jay Baruchel from is he's Sandusky from Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
yeah,
But even before that, where he stole my heart was in Undeclared, which was the show that they did after Freaks and Geeks, Apatow and company. So there's a lot of familiar faces from Freaks and Geeks, and then
that's 1 season rather than
right,
2
yeah,
seasons
exact-
of Freaks
yeah,
and Geeks.
yeah. So
Just after that, he did a really good indie film in Canada called Fetch and Cody.
and he was in, and I didn't realize this, and I just saw it like last week, and I'm like, oh my god, he was in Almost Famous. He plays just a really a minor role as a groupie. So seeing him in there was kind of funny.
But I want to say this about Man Seeking Woman. I actually don't like the main guy, like the actor. I find him like extremely off-putting, but it doesn't matter because the show's that good.
I love him.
Do you?
Carp, yeah.
Okay.
Who he was in the undeclared, but yeah.
I was thinking
Fair
about
enough.
she's out of your league.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
that
not
one
bad
too.
too. Yeah.
Can't forget Sorcerer's Apprentice. God.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can't you?
Can you?
No,
I
it's
never
got
saw
Nicolas
it,
Cage.
actually.
You can't forget it.
Oh, I never saw it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nick Cage is in it.
Even
He's,
though Nick
he's
Cage
like
is in it.
a wizard
I know.
mentor.
Exactly what
Yeah,
it
it's
is.
great.
And that's why I've never seen it.
Would you recommend that, Mike? You don't have to use this as your recommendation.
Yeah, this won't be my
but-
recommendation.
Okay,
I won't recommend
but
it.
okay, yeah, I think good to know.
Unless you just love Nicolas Cage.
And who besides Josh doesn't? But yeah.
Well, I loved NEXT, which nobody else does.
I recognize that as a Nicolas
Spelling
Cage.
next.
I was hoping nobody would notice or realize when I was talking about it. So I spelled it out.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
All right, well, good recommendation. Moving over to Josh.
I'm going to be a dick and recommend several things. One being Failure's new album is coming out. It's first album since 1996. They're on songpledge, I think, .com or something like that, raising money, which they've already like killed it. They're selling like their pedals and stuff like that. And
Oh, right, you were telling me about this, and they're like selling their like the masters or like high res
yeah, so
audio.
the two things I paid for, which was about 175 total, was I get a copy of the album, a copy of the album masters on a flash drive, and my name in the liner notes.
Wow. Do you know the audiophile nerd question? Do you know the sound quality of those masters?
Yeah, 44.1K wave files. So it's just straight up digital waves.
Right.
Stereo, everything like they're, and I'm just not sure what they're gonna be because I don't know if it's just like one wave file per song, which is just CD quality, which isn't really
Right.
that big a deal,
Right.
or if it's gonna be like track for track each like instrument or whatever.
You can remix your own album.
Well, it really wouldn't be that big a deal to them because who remixes space rock? Like, come on.
But really, it's your opportunity to add your own vocals, which...
Oh,
you know,
that's what I've been looking for all
exactly,
this time. You know, now I don't have to use a karaoke machine.
Right, exactly. Yeah. All right, Jerk.
That's about it.
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
your other recommendation?
No, that's good enough.
All right. You promise and then you take away. All right, Glenn, what do you recommend?
So for all those anime watchers out there listening, it's a pretty old anime that's been released probably back in December. But I mean, since we started the podcast, it's always intrigued me. It's called Parasite. You can catch it on Crunchyroll. Basically, it's a horror, sci-fi-ish kind of storyline where parasites are invading the Earth and they could basically take over your mind. Well, apparently, this one unfortunate individual, our protagonist, ends up getting one in his hand, his right hand. So now he's able to not control but live in, like, I guess, symbiosis with it. I don't know the
Yeah,
word.
parasite.
Yeah, symbiosis with it, and essentially it moves on from there to like his struggles of why he has it, but also befriending it for some awful reason because he knows it could kill him as well. But it's really interesting, just the character development of it, because it made me want to read the manga because I couldn't wait to figure out what was going to happen after the second episode. So I went ahead and read the manga for it.
Just
I
like
can't
every
believe-
other anime you fuckers watch.
Yeah.
I can't believe you got to read that. That was like 1970, 1980, and it was terrible art. I tried reading one, and I just couldn't do it.
I was able. Well, unfortunately for Brian, like he couldn't get it. I sludged past it. I mean, but I really do appreciate of how they're translating it into modern day technology. Like before, like in 1990s, when it was released, they were still using landline phones.
Yeah.
And like now they're using smartphones, which is a nice little upgrade to what they were doing. The artwork definitely was upgraded as far as like the facial expressions, the character designs, and like the facial just basically how the characters were just portrayed. But yeah, definitely if you want something that's like on the edge and keeps you like really interested and just always wanting to have more, try it out. It might get you hooked like it did with me because it was Brian's fault again.
Yes, I watch every TV show except for reality TV.
Right.
I try everything.
Yeah, because he's got standards.
Hey, I drop shows. I just try everything.
Occasionally.
Which is
Because if
good.
I say it sucks because I watched it and I didn't like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's just you can always be a reference, right? It's just like I don't know. Brian probably watched it. Brian, was it good? And then you can sort of do that. But at first, I didn't believe you. But then you really sleep like 6 hours a week or something. So then I'm like, oh, that's what he does with the downtime.
Insomnia.
Yeah. All right. We're going over to Mike. Mike, you got a recommendation for us?
I do. It's a band that I feel is amazing, but I feel like nobody knows who they are. And I'm going to typecast them with their genre by saying they're a Japanese screamo band.
Yes.
But that doesn't do them justice.
Ruh-roh.
Does not do them justice.
I must listen to them now.
Yeah, they're just like really
Who?
like Envy is the
Envy.
band. Sorry.
Letter N, letter V? Or
Just like
ENVY?
the ENVY.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're like Japanese screamo that is like almost poppy in like the melodies they pick and just like really beautiful songwriting. It really benefits from not understanding Japanese because their lyrics are horrible.
Or the translation of their lyrics are horrible.
Well, it's like they have them in English in their albums.
Oh, okay.
So they're
okay.
really just they're bad lyrics,
Right.
but because they're in Japanese and they're like really like passionate vocal performances, it like works well for them. So that's my recommendation. If you like hard, beautiful music, check out Envy.
All right. Moving to my recommendation, which apparently is controversial because when we were talking before this podcast, I said, here's my recommendation. And Brian's like, you're recommending that? So here we go. It's the Miguel versus Brian face-off. I'm going to recommend at least the first episode, because it's the only one that I've seen. I know there's 2 out there, of Better Call Saul. I was a big Breaking Bad junkie. I loved it. I thought it was some of the best television just flat out ever. And had me on the edge of my seat.
Only because you don't watch Person of Interest.
Right, yes. But, okay, here's where you're being a jerk. Another recommendation inside my recommendation. You were just waiting until it got to me. So we'll have to get to that because actually both you and Brian are totally down with that show and are trying to beat people into submission until we sit down and watch it. So that's probably something
Club them
definitely
over the
worth
head into
right
submission.
checking out. But anyway, back to Saul. I had just a whole bunch of reservations about this. Like, you just leave Breaking Bad alone. You leave everything about it alone, and it's over and it's done. But they're going to do it, so I'm going to watch it. And I just thought it was quality. It was a little slow in the beginning, I thought, and it was a little bit, they go through these segments where like, what the hell's going on? But then 5 minutes later, you understand what's going on, and then they confuse you again. And I don't know, it worked for me. It had just enough of the flavor of Breaking Bad. It had a lot of the comedy. Of course, Bob Odenkirk is just like awesome in it. From the very, very beginning, where they sort of reveal where he is now. Spoiler alert for the first minute from Breaking Bad to going back into the past, which is really what the show is about, to his pre-Breaking Bad days, Saul's pre-Breaking Bad days, and just sort of tastefully, in my opinion, weaving in stuff from Breaking Bad just enough to keep it interesting. And it also sort of always had me guessing, like, oh, I think they're going to go this way, and then they go a different way, and it works. So that's sort of my review of the first episode. Brian.
Who's Saul?
Saul.
Bob.
Am I saying his last name
Yeah,
right?
you were saying it right.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't recall who he is in the show. I only watched season...
He's the lawyer. He's the lawyer that
Is that later,
Bob.
was that later in the show or something? Because I only saw...
What was that? Was
Brian-
that season 2 or 2? I think it's season 2 that he comes in.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the second half of season 2, because I've only watched like 6 episodes into season 2 before
Yeah.
I got tired of listening to his wife.
Yeah. Yes. But that's who he is.
Okay.
Yeah, I really like the opening, the whole like him working at Cinnabon and then getting him into his apartment and watching his old promos and stuff like that. Spoiler alert! I'm gonna talk.
Yeah,
I'm
for
gonna
the
talk
first-
about a bunch of the first episode.
Don't you dare talk about the second episode.
Oh,
Don't you
Okay.
dare.
Okay.
So wait, to preface this, have you dropped the show already, Brian, or are you still?
Oh, no.
Still giving it a chance.
Breaking Bad is one of my favorite shows. Like at the top 5 favorite shows.
Above person of interest or below it?
Well, Breaking Bad has finished, so I know where I stand with that
Unfair
show.
comparison.
Okay.
Person of Interest is like really great right now, but it could end really badly.
Right.
As like 90% of TV shows.
Lost.
Like
Yeah.
so yeah, the first episode was okay. It was just like I don't need to hear this. I don't need to see this.
But I think that's what you think right now, which is why I mentioned it. It seems like a little bit slow, but like just knowing the creators, like I think there's a bunch of stuff in Breaking Bad that you quote unquote didn't need to see, and then it's just like this beautiful build. And so maybe I'm putting too much trust into them, but like I just feel like this is all going to pay off. Like everything that they're doing is done for like a very specific reason, and I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'm too much of a fan.
I mean,
And A&E's got a pretty good track record right now. So
we'll talk. We'll talk when you catch up.
Okay, all right.
I mean,
So
I
what
know
you're telling
when-
me is the second episode just sucks.
I know it's just I can't explain it without spoiling it.
All right.
But yeah, we'll talk after we watch 3. Are they doing 2 episodes a week?
No, I think they're only doing Monday nights.
yeah, that was just for the first round.
Yeah, they were just trying to catch you after you're catch all the Walking Dead fans.
Oh, it's like a
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
lead in.
There's still fans of that show.
Yeah,
There's
quite a
so
few.
many.
Yeah.
Did you
Yeah.
hear the Walk-a-con? Whatever that is, the Walk-con. So bad.
Walk.
So if we're done with that, I just read something on IMDb that is just released 15 hours ago. Pretty interesting by Cinnamon Blend. So
Breaking news. Hold on. Do we have like
not
a
really
track?
breaking news, but it's 15 hours later.
Oh,
so.
okay. All right. Well, and then by the time we put this up, it'll be you know. Like,
Yeah, so 5 days ago.
exactly.
So Dave Bautista, who
Oh, no.
no one would have ever guessed could actually get a good role, but was Drax the Destroyer in Guardians, and is getting the Spectre's Mr. Hinks role. But his next role that he's also going to be in is he will be the Kurgan in the Highlander reboot, which was
What?
previously Clancy Brown, who is well known from all sorts of shit. Pet Cemetery,
Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers. He's the voice of Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob.
Carnival.
Yeah, Carnival.
who's
He's
the
in all
preacher?
sorts of shit. He's amazing. But so Batista's going to be the new Kurgan, which I don't know how I feel about that because Clancy Brown is the bomb. Like,
Is this a dis recommend? What?
no, just a comment. I'm not commenting one way or the other. I mean, after Drax, I'd be willing to give Dave Bautista a chance in other roles. I'm not sure that I want him in my Highlander
I
one
think he's
movie,
like
which is the only
perfectly casted in Drax because he's a big muscle dude.
with no emotions.
Yeah. So
I don't know. The Kurgan isn't really the smartest character on the planet either. But then again, I mean, we're talking about a series that is kind of like The Matrix. I'll watch the first one and be happy to forget the others exist.
Highlander Endgame, worst movie in my opinion.
Did you watch part 2?
Did you watch Highlander Endgame?
Or part 3? Dude, the one with Mario Van Peebles in it is so amazingly horrible.
You had me at Mario Van Peebles.
Exactly.
That's- yeah.
Like, words can't describe how bad that was. I remember watching that when I was like 12 and going like, this is a pile of shit. Like, that's what I thought. Like, Drop Dead Fred was like quality movie. Not to hate on Drop Dead Fred. That
Right,
movie is
no.
fucking awesome, but not for the acting purposes, you know? So, person of interest?
Are we
no,
just
no.
recommending over
No,
and
I'm
over?
not talking about recommending, but Miguel said that we should talk about it since he was bringing up good TV.
You might as well. He's opened the door.
Oh.
We can close out with a little person of interest love.
Okay, so person of interest.
What season are we in?
Season 4.
How accessible are the past seasons?
Very.
All right.
You can
Continue.
watch. They're all on Netflix.
Okay.
The first 3 seasons are on Netflix. I forget Ben's name from Lost. The actor's name.
Oh, I'll look it up.
Okay.
I think we're
So him and Jim Caviezel and those are the basic characters for the beginning of the show. And Jim Caviezel's a ex-CIA / Special Forces guy who's suicidal, and
Michael Emerson's
character saves his life basically by giving him purpose, and he made a machine that can predict crime and uses the NSA's illegal feeds and stuff like that to predict it. But the machine only predicts major crimes and throws away all the numbers it assigns numbers to each crime. Throws away all the numbers which it calls irrelevant. Michael Emerson's character gets pissed off about that, decides that he's going to save all the irrelevant numbers, which end up being Social Security numbers. They look it up, and they figure out who is in trouble, but they don't know if they're good or bad people that are in trouble. Mm-hmm. They have to determine that and save them or stop them before the event happens. And starts out as a fairly simple Freak of the Week show. They have to do this with an ongoing storyline of, they can't get caught. They both don't exist. Mm-hmm. And there's, for the first two seasons, the cops are after them before they bring the cops into the fold. Or, a couple police officers.
Yeah.
And then the first 2 seasons are basically set up, even though they're amazing setup. The first season is really, you can tell that they didn't know if the show was going to catch on or not, and they were kind of being very tentative about it. And then season 2, there's a dog that's a character, which is awesome. They just start experimenting a lot. Another thing to preface the show with is it's done by Christopher Nolan's brother. And you can tell it's so well thought out. And then season 3 happens, and I feel like I'm watching Jericho. The show just keeps going, and it gets crazier and crazier and crazier. And I think they've only had one stumbling block episode, and it wasn't really for me. It wasn't a stumbling block. For Brian, I think it was a little bit more.
Yeah, and we can't talk about it.
Well, we can't do anything without.
But
I think
that's.
But it's literally the tension is just constantly building,
right.
And I think from episode 9 or 7 of season 3, all the way to the end of season 3, 20 episodes.
Yeah, they're 20.
20 or 21 episodes,
yeah.
As probably one of the fastest sprints in television for me, aside from Jericho. Mm-hmm.
And then we're in season 4 right now.
Mm-hmm. It hasn't stopped.
Every episode is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I have one hang up, and I can't talk about it, but there's one thing that could ruin the show for me, because there's one thing about movies and TVs I really don't like, and they introduced it, and I'm just get it off.
Is it sex, Brian?
Not enough sex.
Okay, all right. They introduced not enough sex.
Yeah, I don't know how. Maybe they dangled it and took it away. But that is one thing that I'm really impressed with the show. It's how Games of Thrones, Walking Dead. It's really violent and all that stuff. Shock value, person of interest. People are getting shot in the kneecaps and stuff, but there's not enough. There's not much blood. Not a lot of violence or anything, and they pull off a great show. It's a lot of it's just talking.
Yeah, Caviezel's character is basically drawn up at the very beginning as this cold-blooded ex-CIA / Special Forces guy who will do whatever it takes. And I don't think he's killed more than 2 people in the show.
He has crippled hundreds.
Yeah, there's a lot of crooks and stuff out there with some serious problems walking because of him. But he is. I'm not even sure he's killed anyone really.
I think
probably
there's been explosions he set up that
that's true.
has killed people. But that's aside from it. They don't show a lot of the gore or the violence, and it's just ideas, and the villains are not unseen. It's crazy. It's so good.
All right, cool. Well, that's a good recommendation. And I guess maybe last question for tonight, because you stay up and you watch so much TV, Brian, what is the worst show of this season?
Worst show of this season?
Yeah.
The winter to spring?
Just maybe, yeah, sure. Fine, yeah.
Qualify it.
Yeah.
Right now, I think Katherine Heigl's show is really bad.
Yeah.
State of Affairs.
Mm-hmm.
That one bored me to death. Yeah, because it's just a direct copy of Tia Leone's show of Madam Secretary, and Madam Secretary is awesome. You should watch that too. But yeah, State of Affairs is a direct copy, and Katherine Heigl can't act.
So it's the deep impact to the Armageddon.
Oh yeah.
Or something like that. Right.
All right.
Did I get that right? Okay.
Yeah, that was a perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And if it's like really current, I've watched all episodes, but I hated every single one. It's Fresh Off the Boat.
Oh, yeah. I've been hearing about that.
That looked good.
Isn't Min a fan of that show?
Huh?
I
haven't talked to him,
Okay.
but I'll berate.
I thought he said.
So
something on
why do you
Facebook
keep
about it.
what is the redeeming quality that has you coming back?
A friend of mine, Ken, he's Chinese. He likes it. That's what his reason is.
No, but that's why you go back is
Because I give most shows like 4 to 5 episodes.
all right.
before
Wow,
I
you're
stop.
very generous.
Yeah, it's a half-hour comedy,
Right.
but I haven't laughed.
Is that so? The comedy's in quotes.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
haven't laughed a single time.
So you just hold out until you get the laugh, and then you just
Yeah, it's like, there's some parallels to my life, like how Asian parents are really really strict about education and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just like, okay, yeah, it's one of those things like, I get what you're saying, you're just not funny. Yeah.
excellent.
Paul Shear's in it, and he's not making me laugh.
What?
Yeah,
Wow. Writing must be terrible.
yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, now you know what to watch / listen to, and what not to, or at least one show. So anyway, thank you for listening. This has been the RNG Podcast, and if you have any comments, we'd love to hear them. So leave them below, and we'll be casting to you soon.
You're fired.